Okay, so part two. In the last video, I was telling you guys like when you're in a season to finesse and assess your foundation, right? So today I'm going to give you 3 steps to assess your foundation, whether you know, like how to know if your foundation can hold your next level or if you're going to have to do some repairs or create a new one. Okay, let's get into it. Or some renovations. Okay, so this is how you renovate your foundation. Step one. Okay, this is tip number one. You need to first figure out where it is you're trying to go from here. Because if you don't know where you're trying to go, then you have nothing to compare your foundation to, period. Okay. So here is your step number one. Once you have that idea, I want you to start looking for people who have a similar foundation. Now, look, you might be the first person to do something. You might have an original idea. Okay. It's not that many of those, but if you got an original idea, that's okay. Look for someone who has a similar idea than you, and you might have to catch a couple people. Like, say for example, if you have a spiritual business but you're looking to make millions of dollars, you're going to have to find someone who has a similar idea, but it might be multiple people. One person might be making hundreds of thousands of dollars as a spiritual person, but then another person might be a millionaire, but maybe they're a Christian or a Muslim or something like that, but they have a spiritual based business. Does that make sense? So, basically find you a working model so that you can look at, okay, what are the foundations that they have that I don't have? For example, if I like, for example, me as a spiritual teacher, if I'm a spiritual teacher, that means I also need spiritual rituals to hold me steady, grounded, and clear to receive messages, right? And also to pull down information. So what is that for you? Two, the second thing that you're going to need, big talk, okay? The second thing you're going to need is financial understanding, okay? Because most things on this level require different financial inputs. Whether that's going to be, okay, if you're going into a relationship, okay, if you're the person who usually pays for things, okay, am I financially secure? The Am I looking for someone who is going to be financially secure where we don't have to split dates? Well, then what am I willing financially to do for them? Or what am I willing to trade their financial security for? Now, that doesn't mean that you're moving into a conditional situation, but relationships are give and take. So if you're just thinking, oh, I'm going to take being taken care of and I'm not going to put anything into it, then you're not going to get what you want. Or you're going to get a really toxic version of it where you're going to have to pretend to not be yourself to have what you want. Does that make sense? Because you're sacrificing yourself essentially to get what you want because you weren't specific. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, let's go a little deeper, okay? So the next thing what you're going to do is you're going to take this big ass idea that you have that you want to create, and then you're going to start breaking it down into goals, right? You're going to have your macro goals. Those are going to be your big milestones. You shouldn't have like a shit ton of these, okay? 10 max. I like to say around 5 or 6 macro goals. Then you're going to break those macro goals down into semi micro goals. Semi micro goals are like your quarterly goals. So, goals you're going to make quarterly to get you from point A to point B. Those quarterly goals are going to eventually break down into your micro goals. Those are going to be the goals that you have from week to week and day to day to get you to your quarterly goals or your monthly goals, right? Okay. So now we got our goals. So we go big goal, we go milestones, we go quarterly, we go monthly, we go weekly, we go daily, right? And this is a lot. There's a lot of work, but bitch, you about to do a lot of work, okay? So now I want you to look at those goals and I want you to look at where will I struggle? What parts of these goals are going to trigger me? What am I struggling with right now that I see in these goals that I have a hard time doing right now? If you have a hard time making purchases to invest in yourself and your knowledge base, then you're going to need to go get your mind right. All right. Then you're going to have to go get your finances right. Okay. If some of y'all aren't operating with y'all business being in the right place, right? If you're trying to move from making thousands to making tens, hundreds, or millions, make sure your documents are legitimate. Okay. Make sure you start working on that business credit, right? Because you need funding. Okay. So start thinking about what is it going to take? What is the knowledge that you lack? And then go fucking get it. Go get the knowledge and put that motherfucker into action. Knowledge ain't shit if you don't use it. It ain't shit. It's trash. It's trash if you don't use it. It's just like if you buy some apples, you leave them bitches out on the counter. After a while, they gonna disintegrate. They gonna get old. They gonna get, look brown, and then they gonna smell bad. And you can't eat that apple no more. It's trash. You gotta throw it in the trash, or you gotta put it in the compost, make it some more dirt later, because you didn't eat that shit. Does that make sense? You need to take the knowledge and go use it, okay? And harvest based on what you used. And right now, whatever it is that your foundation is missing usually has two problems: money and lack of access to the knowledge that you need. And then the ultimate underlying problem is consistency. That's it. Because you done probably tried it a few times and you just gave up on making that a part of your foundation because you kept failing. So now it's time for you to invest some money and to figure out how to fix it. And some of y'all know exactly where to go to fix that problem, but you just didn't want to check out the bread. Look, Afterpay, credit card, spread that bitch out. The fuck? Stop trying to make whole purchases. If you can't afford it, but this is what's going to get you to a place where you can start affording stuff like this regularly, it's worth the investment in yourself. Stop playing games. Like, for why? For why? Okay. Um, okay. Okay. I love you. I hope that you've taken this and you ate it, because it's fucking time to eat, bitch. It's time for you to get your ass up and get your shit together so you can eat every fucking day for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Get your shit together. Stop playing. Stop playing with yourself. Bye.